Hello and welcome. I'm Blair Blackwell, and this is the Daily Cyber Brief. Here's today's rundown of the biggest cybersecurity stories you need to know today. Good morning. It's Monday, December 8th. This is the Daily Cyber Brief. Here are the key cyber risks shaping today's session, led by a critical web framework flaw under active attack, a maximum severity content parsing bug, and a notable healthcare breach tied to a zero-day. The headline risk today is React2Shell, a remote code execution bug in React server components. Multiple reports confirm active exploitation, including by China-linked groups, with more than 77,000 internet-exposed IPs still vulnerable and at least 30 organizations already compromised. The U.S. cyber agency CISA has added the CVE to its known exploited list, which is a clear signal to prioritize it. One large provider, Cloudflare, even attributed a service outage to emergency mitigations around this issue. A reminder that urgent patching on core web components can ripple into availability. On the vulnerabilities front, there's another critical item, this time in Apache Tika, the Java library widely used to parse files. The flaw, an XML external entity injection rated 10 out of 10 in severity, could enable data exposure or code execution when applications ingest untrusted documents. Researchers also disclosed more than 30 weaknesses in AI-powered developer environments, showing how prompt-driven features can be blended with normal IDE capabilities to exfiltrate data or run code. They've nicknamed the collection IDEsaster, and it underscores a growing risk at the intersection of AI tooling and software supply chains. Turning to incidents, Barts Health NHS says the Klopp ransomware group stole data by exploiting an Oracle e-business suite vulnerability, described as a zero-day at the time of attack. In the private sector, U.S. pharma firm Innovative is notifying thousands after a ransomware breach earlier this year led to theft of personal information. Different sectors, similar playbook, and both tied back to vulnerable enterprise applications. Meanwhile, perimeter pressure continues. A new wave of login attempts is hitting Palo Alto Global Protect VPN portals, with parallel scanning of SonicWall API endpoints. It looks opportunistic and broad rather than a single exploit, but it puts identity, MFA, and edge device hygiene in the spotlight. There's also a policy move worth noting. Portugal updated its cybercrime law to create a legal safe harbor for good faith security research, carving out tightly defined conditions under which hacking would not be prosecuted. For organizations and researchers working across borders, that's a constructive step that could improve coordinated disclosure. Who should care, and why? Any organization running modern web apps that rely on React server components faces elevated risk until fixes are applied and exposed instances reduced. Cloud and SaaS providers that serve at scale are particularly sensitive, as mitigation work can affect uptime. Java applications that embed Apache Tika for document handling, common in search, content management, and data pipelines, carry high impact if they parse untrusted files. Software teams adopting AI coding assistants and AI-enabled IDEs should factor in the data exposure and code execution angles. Healthcare providers and ERP owners will see renewed attention on third-party application risks. And any enterprise with internet-facing VPN portals should anticipate credential testing and API probing. Looking ahead, expect continued exploitation and scanning for React2Shell as proofs of concept circulate and defenders race to harden systems. Watch for downstream advisories as products that bundle Apache Tika publish updates. The VPN campaign bears monitoring for any pivot to exploitation of specific bugs. CISA's KEV edition signals ongoing enforcement timelines for U.S. federal agencies, and by extension, a broader expectation of timely remediation across industry. What I'll be watching today: the pace of React2Shell compromises against major web properties and whether numbers grow beyond the initial 30 organizations. AI-assisted developer workflows and IDE integrations, particularly where they touch source code and secrets. Content ingestion pipelines that rely on Apache Tika. healthcare, and other ERP-heavy environments for signs of follow-on data theft, and VPN gateways under pressure from login and API probing. The takeaway: it's a busy patching window across web frameworks and parsing libraries, with real-world incidents reinforcing the stakes. The challenge is balancing speed with stability. But the playbook is familiar. Stay methodical, keep visibility high, and prioritize what's being actively exploited. That's it for today's edition of the Daily Cyber Brief. Thanks for listening. I'm Blair Blackwell. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not cybersecurity, legal, or financial advice.